It's been quite a long time to the point where a part of me doesn't like, of course, I remember before, the show, but a part of me doesn't really remember, like, the sensations of what it was like to go out before that.
Now, Gaten, Dustin is quite content with reclaiming his nerd identity. He really does march to a beat of his own drum, doesn't he? And in that aspect, are you two anything alike?
I think so. I think it's something that I try to emulate, you know? It's something that I bring to the character, and a couple seasons in, I realized that the reason for that is probably because it's something I'd like to see in myself. So, I think that more recently, I'm trying to kind of take cues from the work that I do in the show. I think he gets anxious and stuff, and he doesn't really like bullying and stuff, and he's still worried about school, but he never compromises himself for that.
And Priah, how did it feel to be the breakout star of season 3? And it seems that now you will be adding another title other than Meme Queen, and that is Dungeons and Dragons Extraordinaire. Am I right?
Yes, you're correct. It felt good. It was kind of surreal a little bit. I wasn't expecting. I knew the show would write Erica in very, very well. Erica was supposed to be like a one-time thing just to introduce Lucas' family. And when they wrote me in, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is fun. And they did it in such a good way. So I knew Erica would get a little bit of buzz because who the creators were of the show, of course. I think in season 3, the fans got to know a little bit more about Erica and truly how she is a nerd. She came to realization that she is a nerd. Also, of course, season 4 with the whole Dungeons and Dragons themes, that's like a very nerdish thing in the show.
Having the whole world watch you as you grow up on screen must not have been easy for you guys. How has this experience been for you so far?
Yeah, it's been quite a long time to the point where a part of me doesn't, like, of course, I remember before the show, but a part of me doesn't really remember, like, the sensations of what it was like to go out before that. Like, now every time I do, there's a consideration like, oh cool, I'm gonna have to get in a good headspace because there are gonna be people recognizing me, and I have to make sure that I do my best to make sure that I am nice to them, and that I'm respectful and grateful for everybody. It's not like I need to remind myself that I'm grateful for all of these people, but going out sometimes, if I'm not prepared or if I'm not ready, then it's something that can get a little overwhelming pretty quickly. But I think it's been happening for so long at this point that it feels like second nature. And I think in some ways, a part of me would like to like have waited a little longer to have that. So like my teenage years could have been free of that. But in other ways, it's really great that I'm able to establish it from a young age and understand how to go about it.
No, I definitely agree with Gaten. I think it all moves so fast, especially with me being a teenager. You know, in that teenager stage, we're very, very moody, and you know, we can get a little emotional sometimes. But I really did have to mature a little bit faster than some of my classmates. I had to learn how to kind of handle that and keep that in control a little bit more, because on the outside looking in, people might not always understand. And you know, of course, the fans, I always want to bring out the best self of me or the best me to them, because they do support the show, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. So I want to always make sure I'm grateful. So I do have to mature a little bit faster, but I think it all moves so fast. It's kind of hard for me to just sit down and like really, really process what's going on. Yeah.
Of course. But by now, Stranger Things, like you guys have said, has been a big part of your teenage years. Now, would you say kids nowadays have it better than the teenagers did in the 80s? Or would you have rather grown up then?
Pretty glad that I've grown up now. I think if I definitely chose to like go back in time and live there, I'd miss my PlayStation. Like, I know for a fact that I would. Like, a part of me wants to think that like I would be like, oh, I love it, I get to ride bikes and go outside and be disconnected from the world. It's great. But I think knowing what's coming, I'd be a little bit upset that I didn't get to have that. I don't necessarily know if it's a better or worse time. I mean, it has its pros and its cons. I mean, kids are more connected to the world than they ever have been in any point in history. And in a lot of ways, it's great. Kids are educating themselves faster, and they're becoming passionate about their own causes and what they love and what's important to them. And they can find other people that experience those same things. There are a lot of people who felt like outcasts, who felt like D&D was just some nerdy thing, and I don't know why I like this and why it's weird. Or I think it's an incredible time for gay and queer kids today. They have more of a community than they've ever had at any point in history, and it's still improving. But the fact that kids can actually feel accepted in a world like this is just wonderful. People forget about the pros that social media brings, but of course there's a lot more obsession with appearances than oneself than there ever has been at any point, and you wish that kids could take a step back and realize that they're enough. But yeah, there's give and take. I like being where I am.
I agree. From what I hear about the 80s, I definitely do like it. And I like how we're more connected with each other a little bit more. You know, on the internet, it sometimes seems, even when I'm talking to people, a little bit disconnected a little bit, or just that little bit of gap. But I agree with Gaten. I do feel like in this day and time, anyone could be themselves. And it's kind of cool to be unique and be yourself. So that's what I do appreciate about the internet. They really do empower people and embrace people, like, okay, it's okay to be yourself in our generation. That's what I do like, as to where, you know, the 80s, it was kind of like those outcasts, but there's not that really many outcasts in this day and age. I would definitely say for me, I do take a break off social media. I take a break off social media a little bit. And I kind of disconnect with it because it could get so overwhelming, especially like with high school, it's catty. It could get overwhelming sometimes. So I try to take a break, but when I get back on it, I'm just kind of like, okay, I kind of missed it a little bit.